Hello there, and welcome to What the Dog podcast, where we talk about what your dog's doing, why they're doing it, and can we fix it. As always, my name is Katie, and I am the owner and trainer here at For Pete's Sake Dog Training, where we are going to answer your questions in a timely manner because you're busy. Now, today we are going to be talking about peeing in the house. Now, this could also go for if your dog's pooping in the house as well, but in my honest opinion, outside of any medical issues, most dogs have a fairly regular poop schedule. So we should be able to solve that fairly quickly. So I am going to kind of focus more on peeing in the house because this tends to be a problem with a lot of clients in different ways. But when we talk about going to the bathroom in the house, first I want to talk about why your dog may just be doing it in the first place, because to be honest, if we can narrow this down and figure out the why behind why they're going to the bathroom in your house, we should be able to then solve the issue. And there's a couple different reasons depending on your situation, your dog's age, all of this. So we really need to focus on the why. To start, if your dog is young or even new to you, so if you've recently adopted even an adult dog, or if you have a quote puppy or younger dog, most likely your issues you're running into are potty training issues, where your dog just goes when they need to go. And there's kind of different levels to this. So I'm going to start with potty training. Your dog, there are other reasons as well. So if this doesn't apply to you, we will definitely get to the other reasons. So I want to start with potty training first to just kind of focus my thoughts. Again, even if your dog is an adult dog, but it's kind of new to you, or you just moved to a new house, so it's that location, and you're like, why are we peeing in the house now? We want to focus on the basics of potty training. So when I look at potty training, there are a couple things that are a need for a dog. The biggest one is, how does your dog tell you that they need to go outside? So if you are in a new house, this could be an issue. Your dog doesn't know how to tell you they need to go outside. Some dogs will automatically alert you in their own natural way. So for some dogs, this may not be an issue. But for many, it can be just simply, how do they tell you they need to get outside to go to the bathroom? My go-to is usually the bell system, where you have a ribbon of bells hanging from your door handle, and that door is the door they go out to go to the bathroom, right? So if you use your front door, your back door, whatever door that may be, that tends to be my first go-to. There are other options. You can teach your dog to bark if you'd like to go outside. I don't personally recommend this because sometimes dogs will start to bark when they just want things then, and they may not actually make that connection very well. So it could lead to an unwanted habit that you might create for your dog. And there are also buttons. So buttons from, as you know, we have the talking buttons now. You could teach your dog to press a talking button, or there are little doggy doorbells that you can put a doorbell by the door, and your dog can push it and it makes a noise saying they need to go outside to go potty. Now, part of this training process, you may also run into the dog just wanting to go outside. And to be honest, like, dogs are going to do that. Like, I don't know how else to say that. That's very normal because dogs want to spend time outside. My dog, if I sit outside with him, he could, oh, sorry, my phone just like went off like crazy, and I'm just getting a bunch of Snapchats, so it's okay. I thought I was getting a phone call. But anyway, my dog could sit outside for hours if someone's out there with him, and he will, on a very nice day, will continue to want to be outside whether he has to go to the bathroom or not. So that can be an issue. What I suggest to people who are struggling with that, you should know your dog's potty routine and schedule. especially as they age. And especially for, you know what, especially for everybody, because I was going to say, especially for puppies. But the next part of dog potty training is going to be schedules. So if you have a young dog where their bladder muscles are still growing and building, or sphincter muscles, right? They are building muscles and their system isn't quite connected with their brain to give them a long-term heads up of like, hey, you're going to need to go to the bathroom soon. For a lot of puppies, it's, hey, I got to go right now, right? There are some behaviors we start to see if a dog is being extra sniffy on the ground. They're sniffing and looking for a spot to go to the bathroom. So even if your dog is a little bit older, you may start to see this body language and be like, oh, we're about to go potty. And then you can get them outside to go potty, right? Anytime that your dog is having an accident in the house, I usually have people start journaling those accidents, because we can compare that journal to your schedule and to the dog's potty schedule. And what I mean is, like I mentioned in the beginning, most dogs have a fairly regular pooping schedule, especially if they're getting fed at regular times during the day. So my dog usually has to poop within the first hour of waking up. So if I get up, I let him outside, he pees, he sniffs around, he doesn't poop, he comes back inside. I may go ahead and feed him breakfast, but I need to know that he's going to have to go outside within the next hour to poop. So if I'm going to leave for the day to go out and work for hours, whatever it may be, I need to make sure that I get him outside and he does his business before I leave him inside for, however many hours he's going to be left alone. So knowing your dog's schedule is very important. When you have a puppy, again, their body is building those muscles. So they're only able to, quote, hold it for a certain amount of time. And this is usually more the pee side of things, because pooping, again, should be on a fairly regular schedule. So we should be able to eliminate pooping in the house fairly quickly. But when it comes to peeing, we can time about how long the dog is able to, quote, hold it. Sometimes I'll have people with younger dogs or new to them dogs tell me that their dog won't go to the bathroom in the kennel while they're at work, and maybe they're gone for 5-6 hours, but when they get home, it's like the dog has to go to the bathroom every 2-ish hours. And I tell them that's very normal. We know their body can, quote, hold it. However, while they're in the kennel, they don't have free range access to water. So a lot of our younger dogs may drink a lot more water a lot more frequently, and their body is like, whoa, this is a lot of water. We gotta get it out, right? So their behaviors in their environment have now changed from outside of their kennel. So you may have a schedule that is in the kennel and a schedule that's out of the kennel. I know we can hold it for 5 hours in the kennel, but when we're out of the kennel, we can't hold it for 5 hours yet, because we're playing, we're forgetful that we had to go to the bathroom. Shiny things happen a lot to new dogs in the home, so they get distracted very easily. So we need to make sure that we are helping our dog get outside based on their schedule of when they need to go potty. And we need to kind of help them with that schedule. We also want to help them learn that we go to the bathroom outside versus inside. So that's step number 3. So we've gone, step number 1 is, how do you tell your dog that they need to go outside? Or how does your dog tell you, that they need to go outside? Step number 2 is focusing on the schedule. Step number 3 is teaching them kind of, quote, the right spot to go to the bathroom. I will mention, I never punish a dog for going to the bathroom inside. And the reason is that connection between what the behavior they do with what comes next is very short. Dogs learn like this behavior equals this. We call it consequence in dog training, but it's really whatever comes next within about 1 to 3 seconds. So a lot of times if your dog has had an accident in the house and they didn't just do it, they're not going to make that connection. However, I also don't want to scare them or do anything that might be negative about going to the bathroom, because we could start to gain fear around the activity of going to the bathroom, and then we could cause some medical issues. We could also For example, I'm just saying yelling and the whole shoving their face in it doesn't do anything, guys. It really doesn't. It's not effective. So they're not like kids where we can talk through this and say you can't pee here. Dogs don't necessarily understand the word no because we haven't taught them the word no. Go back to my other podcast episode and listen to that podcast episode if you're like, what, they totally get it. A lot of the times if we're yelling at our dogs for peeing in or pooping in the house, you see body language that makes them look, quote, guilty, but what's happening is they are responding to your body language and your tone, because we're not talking to our dogs going, oh my gosh, you peed in the house. What a dog, what a puppy. If you talk in a high-pitched voice, your dog's going to be more wiggly and more excited. But if you talk in a deeper, you pooped in the house, what are you doing? No. Your dog's going to have different body language because your energy and your body language and your tone are different, and they don't like it. They're reacting to the fact that they just don't like that. Okay? So if I am watching a dog pee, I don't yell, I don't do anything. I really just don't do anything besides clean it up. I don't interact with the dog. So they're learning that they don't get anything. Nothing good is happening, but also nothing scary is happening too. So I'm pretty calm, collected. I just clean it up. I notate to myself mentally that I missed something. I either went past their time on their schedule or they told me they needed to go outside and I missed it, right? So it is my fault that they went to the bathroom inside. I then want to teach that they need to go to the bathroom outside. So what I want to do is when I do take them outside, or if they ask to go outside and they go outside, I need to go out into the yard with them with praise, whatever that praise may be. If they love to play ball, they love to play tug, they have a favorite squishy toy, they love affection from you, or even treats. So you don't have to always bring treats, but you want to make sure that you go out in the yard with them. After they are done going potty, then you reward. I don't want you to get excited while they're peeing. Oh my gosh, good dog, you're peeing, because then they can get distracted and they may not finish peeing. Okay? Wait till they're done. As soon as they're done, oh my gosh, good dog, praise, toy, play, treats, whatever it is, in the yard. Too many people are focused on treating the dog once they come back inside, and what you did is you just rewarded the dog for coming inside, not for peeing in the yard, for coming inside. You can still reward for coming inside. That's fine, as long as you understand that there's a difference between giving your dog a treat at the door versus giving your dog a treat in the yard, or whatever your reward system is. Because again, 1 to 3 seconds here, right? And once they've peed, if they start running to you at the door and they get a treat, again, they're getting rewarded for coming to you, not for peeing, even though you might say, oh my gosh, good job pooping in the yard, and you give them a treat. They don't understand that, okay? So we need to make it very clear that they get rewarded, and good things, lots of good wanted things happen when we go to the bathroom in the yard. And I know during the winter and the springtime when it's snowy or rainy, wherever we live, that's not always fun, but it's the best way to teach your dog that this is exactly where I want you to go, right? So it's those steps. When you're talking about a young dog who the issue is potty training, you want to have them teach you how to tell you they need to go outside. If you have multiple dogs, your youngest dog or the newest dog into your family, this can be more difficult because your other dogs are usually the ones saying they need to go outside, and then you just let everyone out. I had that problem with Pete. He came into my life when I already had another dog, and my first dog would bark. That's just her natural thing, or she'd paw at the door. That was her natural thing she did, so we worked with that. And then I'd let them out. Well, when my first dog passed away, Pete had no way of telling us to go outside because we hadn't taught him that. He just went out when the other dog would go out, right? So keep that in mind. So 1, they need to tell you how to go outside, that they need to go outside. 2, work with their schedule. 3, praise in the correct spot, which is out in the yard with them, not when they come inside the door, okay? Cool. Young dogs, potty training, That's what you need to do. Now, maybe you don't have a young dog. Maybe you have an older dog. Maybe you just moved into a new house and you don't think potty training is the issue. There could be smells. There could be smells that are triggering the dog to go to the bathroom. And if that's the case, it usually tends to be in the same spot. A previous dog in that house could have peed and they smell it. It could be that they are literally marking their space and they just need to pee there first. It can be an unwanted continuous cycle when there are smells triggering that behavior, and it can be very frustrating. So let me look it up actually. There is a company there's different companies out there that have cleaning products for dog and animal issues. I'm looking at, sorry, I meant to do this before and I completely forgot. But there is a company that's mainly for cats. Oh, I might not be able to find it so quickly as I thought I would. But they have a great product that I have had people in the dog rescue world tell me that it is a great product for dog pee, even though it's mainly for cats. I will get it and I will find it for you guys. Okay. The carpet cleaning product, or the cleaning product I was talking about, is Perfect Potion, and it's perfect with 2 R's, so like a cat purring. Perfect Potion. And like I said, it is mainly focused on cats, but cat urine smells very strong. And like I said, I've had people in the dog rescue world tell me that this stuff works great. So if you're worried about smells, I would get some, not just regular carpet cleaner, like this is specifically made for animal like urine. So get a product, go for the smells, try and get that cleaned up. So that's kind of step one. If you don't think this is a potty training issue, try and get rid of the smells. Step two, option two, I would again start tracking when these accidents are happening. And if they're kind of irregular, what I would do is also note things like the weather or what your schedule was during the day. Was your dog in their kennel or not? Like there's a lot of things that could be contributing to this, and it may be an anxiety-based issue. So if maybe you're like, we just put new carpet in and my dog is peeing. Yeah, remodeling your home causes a lot of stress for dogs. My dog freaks out if I'm just packing a box to go donate somewhere. Or, if I'm doing anything that's remotely the sense of moving to a new house, because we have now lived in 4 different houses in 7 years. So moving is kind of a traumatic thing for him. When we lived in Kansas, we took out our carpet and put wood floors in, and my guy was a stress wreck for a couple weeks. So speaking of, did you just pass gas, dude? That's stinky. As I'm talking about him having anxiety, he's passing gas in here. He's a Pitty. For those of you who knows, I need a gas mask right now when Pitties pass gas. Anyway, it's a great time for that on this topic. Anxiety could definitely be a cause of your dog going to the bathroom. I've had clients reach out to me because they've had a spouse pass away and now their dog is, peeing in a couple spots in the house, one of them being a child's room. So sometimes I may even first say, let's try and manage that they can't go to the bathroom in those spots. It could be that those spots are a safe spot for them and the anxiety buildup is causing them to have to go to the bathroom. So we're going to go in these safe spots. So sometimes managing them to be away from that safe spot where they're going to the bathroom, sometimes that can just resolve the issue. But when we're talking about anxiety-based, we want to find the source of what's causing the anxiety. Are there supplements or any medications that we might need to be taking? Then those conversations I strongly suggest you have with your vet. because depending on the situation may depend on what route you go, long term, short term, you know, if it's just situational versus daily. So there's a lot of things that you want to talk about with that. And we just want to make sure that we understand the why behind the anxiety. So that's why journaling and just noting and finding similarities into what's going on when your dog's having these accidents could be huge. Maybe you change their food. There's lots of different things, right? When my husband travels, my dog definitely gets a little stressed because his routine is different. So he could have accidents in the house. I was like, okay, I get that. So what do I need to do to change that? Maybe I need to change my schedule around a little bit to help him out. Maybe I need to hire a dog sitter or dog walker who could take my dog outside during the day while I'm at work during this stressful time, right? Maybe I need to close him off into a smaller space so he's not peeing or pooping all over my house. So there's lots of things between management and finding, the reason why we're having anxiety and what we can do to help our dog through this anxiety. Lastly, the thing I want to talk about too is it could be a medical issue, especially depending on your dog's age. If they're having accidents in the house, we have, UTIs, stomach problems, anxiety. I'd still kind of compare and put that in that category as well. But there are a variety of medical issues that could be going on. So if this seems like an abrupt change or something where you're like, whoa, there's really nothing different going on in my house to cause anxiety per se, but now my dog has this problem, my first go-to is you talk to the vet first, because I want the vet to rule out that it's a medical issue before we start talking behavioral issue, right? So we got to check out your dog, their kidneys, liver values. They're probably going to want to take a blood test, maybe an x-ray potentially on what's going on, if there's stones. There's lots of things, right? So we want to make sure that it's not medically induced or a medical issue, and then we can start talking behavioral. And that's where the last three kind of groups come into play between smell, anxiety, and a potty training issue. So I know that was a little longer than normal, but I wanted to make sure we discuss all potential options as to why your dog may go into the bathroom in your house. If you have other animals, that could be the issue. I know it's particularly for male dogs. Female dogs mark too, okay? My first dog was a marker. But a lot of times for male dogs, sometimes again, it's a smell-based thing. And there are things called like belly bands, not quite diapers, but belly bands that we can put on our male dogs so that they aren't at least peeing on your stuff in the house. So there are some management things that we can put in play as well to help us while we try and figure out the whys. But there are some clients where, they're like, I'll just put a belly band on my dog while I'm busy and I can't monitor my dog, and that's fine. I worked at a dog daycare company and we could have office dogs, dogs come in to the office with us and work. And there were some dogs who were just very triggered about being around the other dogs and their smells. And so their owners would just put a belly band on them during the day while they're in the office, right? So there are things that we can do and to help kind of manage outside of training as well. So we have to look at both sides of everything. How can we just manage the situation? Is that really the best bet? If there's something medically going on, no, that's not the best bet, right? We need to fix the medical problem. If there's something anxiety based, we can do both a little bit of management as well as helping with the anxiety, right? So we have to take a lot of different angles and sides into consideration when we look at these issues. But in the end, we need to understand the why. Why is your dog doing this? And then we can go from there on trying to solve it for you, because we don't want your dog to be peeing in your house all the time, or pooping, but mainly peeing. I will say my first dog, she would poop in my basement. That was her safe spot. And if I didn't, she would ask to go outside, she'd pee. If I didn't check to make sure she pooped and she came back inside and I didn't let her out again, that was her pooping schedule. Like I was not monitoring her schedule very well. And then she would go downstairs and go to the bathroom because she'd need to go. And that was me. I could manage by blocking her off from the basement. And then I also could be being more attentive to her schedule and making sure she would actually poop outside. So I hope that helped. If you guys need any additional help or resources with any specific problems you're having with your dog, feel free to reach out to me. You can go to my website. That's www.furpetesaketraining.com. F-U-R, Pete's Sake, there's 2 S's there, training.com. You can learn all about the different training options I have. I have virtual for anyone who's not in the Indianola or Des Moines, Iowa area. I do have private in-person sessions. And I also have my membership page where I focus on shorter training sessions. This month of May, we're doing Stay All May. And so today we are learning how to stay with distance. And we'll continue learning different techniques and things we can use with Stay to grow our dog's progress and their abilities. But there's also a ton of other videos on there too. Just $10 a month for that. If you want to check that out, you can go to my website and find it there, or just go to patreon.com/for Pete's Sake. So F-U-R, Pete's Sake. And you can find it there, or check me out on Facebook for Pete's Sake Dog Training. And I have tons of options to find all of that as well as additional information to help grow your knowledge on your dog. Because that's really what we need to do, is we just need to stop and learn more about our dogs so we can understand. But that's why I'm here, and that's why you're listening to me. So thank you guys so much for coming. I enjoy sharing my dog knowledge with you. I hope you're enjoying your time as well. And if you have anything you want me to talk about specifically, feel free to comment here on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, on my YouTube channel, you can also go to Facebook, comment, message me, reach out any way that you find fit. Or if you find my phone number, you can text me as well. So thank you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.